Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Open Day at the Doctoral School at Wrocław University of Science and Technology. My name is Zuzanna Pawlak, and I serve as the Head of Music and Programming at WUST Radio Rus. I encourage you to tune in to 91.6 FM and check what we got there for you. But today, my role is to guide you through this session when we are going to answer all of your questions about the doctoral school. We will discuss key topics such as admission requirements, the interview process, and all the essential details that will be valuable for anyone considering third-degree studies and pursuing PhD in technical sciences. Now it's my pleasure to introduce today's guests. They will share their insights on the PhD experiences and the recruitment process. Professor Krzysztof Walkowiak, Dean of the Doctoral School at WUST. Good afternoon, Professor.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Professor Renata Krzyżyńska, Vice Dean of the Doctoral School. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Izabela Walendzik, PhD student. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
And last but not least, Professor Agnieszka Wyłomańska, Vice Dean for Doctoral Studies. Professor Agnieszka is present via chat because except my questions for the guests through the session, we invite all of you, all participants, to engage with us via the chat function on our YouTube live stream. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. We will address there. If a particular question has already been covered, we will guide you through the most relevant part of the discussion also. So let's begin, and let's begin with a broad overview of doctoral studies. This will hopefully provide a clear context for today's discussion. And my first question goes to Professor Krzysztof Walkowiak. How do you think, what does it actually mean to do a doctorate at the doctorate school?
Okay, so let's start with the basic information. So according to Polish law, a doctoral school is a default way to make a PhD in Poland. The most important information is that every PhD student in our doctoral school receives a scholarship, and the precise values of the scholarship is on our website. Moreover, the doctoral school is free, so there's no any fee to join and then study in our doctoral school. So in general, the system of doctoral schools in our university and in Poland is quite similar to other countries. So the main goal is just simply to prepare a doctoral dissertation in 4 years and then defend the PhD dissertation and obtain the PhD degree. However, as a doctoral school, we want to prepare you as doctoral students for the hard work on your doctoral dissertation. Therefore, we provide a set of courses and trainings to provide you a wide set of different skills, like soft skills, also hard skills in your scientific discipline. Among others, we provide courses and teach you how to write a publication, how to present at a conference, how to prepare a grant proposal. Moreover, as a doctoral school, we also are responsible to measure the progress of your work. So we have a system and plans and reports which are evaluated by persons responsible for scientific disciplines and us as deans of the doctoral school. However, you should be aware that the majority of your time at our university making PhD, you will spend in the department, faculty of your supervisor. So before you start thinking about joining our doctoral school, one of the first steps is selection of the supervisor. Okay, so maybe it is also a good moment to try to describe you shortly what it means, the doctoral dissertation, because as I said before, it is, let's say, the final result which is required after this 4 years of education in our doctoral school. So here I will use the formal definition from the Polish law because it is quite self-explaining. So the doctoral dissertation demonstrates the candidate's general theoretical knowledge in a discipline and the ability to conduct research work independently. So what is here important? So I mentioned about discipline because in Poland, in general, the university where the research part is divided to about 50 disciplines. In our university, we provide education, the doctoral school, in 13 disciplines, because in these 13 disciplines, Wrocław Tech has the right to award the PhD degree. So Mostly there are, let's say, engineering technical disciplines, but also we have some basic sciences like chemistry, physics, and mathematics. Also, we have management science. So another important decision when you are thinking about a doctorate in our university, you must select one of these disciplines. And the second part of the definition of the doctoral dissertation is the subject matter of the doctoral dissertation shall be an original solution to a scientific problem. Okay, maybe it's not so easy to define what is a scientific problem. It is also the responsibility of your supervisor, yes? But in general, doctoral dissertation means making research, quite advanced one, and finally solving a research problem. So what steps are required to finally have the doctoral dissertation after 4 years? So probably during the first year, most of the time doctoral students spend on literature survey. So doctoral students are looking for different publications, reports on the topic of the planned topic of the PhD. The next important element is to formulate the research problem you want to solve in your dissertation. And it also includes the formulation of a research question or the research hypothesis. Another important element is to decide what research methods you will be using in your doctorate. It strongly depends on the field or on the discipline. So for instance, my field is computer science. So most of the PhD currently are focused on methods like machine learning, artificial intelligence methods. Then you must make some experiments, simulations. Once again, it depends on the field. Some of you will spend more time in the laboratory. In computer science, you must program to implement your methods and make some experiment simulations. Then you have the results. So the next step is to analyze the results with some statistical analysis to obtain some interesting results, some conclusions. If you have the results, you can proceed to trying to write the publication about the results. So like a conference publications or a journal publication, and you repeat this task and finally after this 4 years, let's hope that you will have the doctoral dissertation. So the steps I just presented, they strongly depend on the discipline, yes, and the context. So if you want to gain some more details, so probably you should talk with some of your colleagues or the professors of our university. And also I strongly advise the candidates to doctoral school, just try to find some examples of doctoral dissertations. So you can ask your potential supervisor, or you can just Google, just to check what is the expected result after 4 years of doctoral education. So usually it is like 150 pages, so it is quite long dissertation, but okay, many previous candidates and doctoral students were successful. So what's next? So to summarize the most important information about doctoral school. So we provide a whole system, a support for doctoral students, including scholarship, the courses, just to help you to prepare the doctoral dissertation. Okay, so probably we'll have some more details in also during our next questions. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Now we are delighted to have a PhD student with us today. She will share her experiences of studying at WUST. Izabela Walendzik. Izabela, I have a question for you. What makes pursuing a doctorate at the Doctoral School of WUST worth it? Could you share your perspective on this?
Yes, of course. So first of all, our university is one of the top technical universities in Poland, and our doctoral school is one of the biggest. And one of the main goals of the university authorities is developing the doctoral school, because PhD students play a crucial role in strengthening the university scientific potential. And that's why there's a strong focus on making the PhD experience as attractive as possible. So one big advantage is the scholarships. We offer some of the highest in Poland, especially at the start of the PhD, which makes a big difference. The entire PhD program is taught in English, and the range of courses is constantly expanding. And the PhD students can also take extra classes like language or sports classes, which is also a great bonus. we are also part of UNITE, which is an European University Alliance, which opens up lots of international opportunities for PhD students as well. And we also have an amazing doctoral school students council, which organize tons of events to bring the community together and make students' life more fun. So yeah, what it's like to be a PhD student here, it's really good. I really recommend it. It's, in my opinion, it's a great place to do a PhD. We have strong academic support, great funding, and a really great PhD student community.
Okay, that sounds really great. Thank you so much, Izabela. We will explore this topic more later. But for now, let's return to Professor Walkowiak and let's discuss the recruitment process. Professor, what are the admission criteria for the doctoral school, and should candidates prepare? What documents are required? What are the deadlines? Could you walk us through these details?
Okay, yes, this is very important if you are thinking about joining our doctoral school. So the recruitment rules are quite formal, which is required by the law. So they were accepted in November last year by the University Senate. And this year we have 4 evaluation criteria. So I will go through all of that. So the first one is the language command. So we require English language B2 level at least, because as it was mentioned, our training, our courses are full in English. And according to the results of your certificates or maybe your courses, B2 courses at the second or first degree studies, we assign a point, some points. It is from 0 to 10. And the weight of this criteria, the language command, is 10%. The second criteria with 10% is the PhD project. So it is expected that the PhD candidate, together with potential supervisor, will prepare a short description of the plan for the PhD. So it is like 2 pages, not very long one, but it is quite important. So our idea here was also to encourage both sides, like PhD student and supervisor, to work on this document, just to learn each other better, because it is a quite long relation. Usually the PhD takes 4 years. So both sides must accept each other. So also on our website, we have a special publication. So there's like 10 ways how to find your supervisor. Okay, so also we strongly encourage the candidates to go for the publication. Okay, so we have also 2 other criteria, which are quite important because they have 40% of the weight. And the first one is, let's call it activities, various activities, because every of these 13 disciplines I mentioned, they have their own rules, regulations, because there are big differences between the disciplines. But in general, such things as publications, conferences, participation in grants, some internships are counted in this criteria. So there are detailed rules for each of the discipline, how the points are calculated. So once again, we refer you to our website when you can find more details. And the last element of the evaluation process is the interview. So in general, the whole process of evaluation of the candidates is made by a committee. In each discipline, there is a separate committee, and there are like 5 to 8 professors, and they evaluate the elements I just mentioned. And also during the interview, they are evaluating the candidate. Very important part. What about the documents? So we expect, let's say, some basic default documents like our diploma from the first and second degree study. So here, important information, if you do not have still the diploma of the second degree studies, because maybe you are just completing your master studies, so it is not a problem. So you can join the recruitment process. We expect to provide the Master of Science diploma till half of September. Okay, so you can join the recruitment process without defending your master thesis. So what about other documents? So we expect this PhD project, your CV, which is important from the perspective of the activities we evaluate. Also, each discipline provides a detailed document in which you should put all your achievements, which are next evaluated by the committee. And let's talk about the date. So the application, our application system, internet system, will be open since May 6th, and it will be open till June 3rd. So then persons from doctoral school office, they will start to check your documents. And if something is wrong, something is missing, do not worry, because they will contact you and ask you to improve something, to provide some other documents. And then the documents, all the documents of the candidates, they are passed to the recruitment committees, and they evaluate the activities, your CV, and they do the interviews. So the interviews are usually in the last week of June or in the first 2 weeks of July. So it is the decision of the committee, because they must find a time slot that fits all members of the committee. And usually such an interview takes like 30 minutes to 1 hour, the talk with the PhD student. And till July 25, the evaluation process should be finished. And then in the IT system that supports the recruitment process, you will be able to check the final result. As I said before, in half of September, you should provide all missing documents, such as the diploma of master studies. And you will start the education or doctoral school from October 1st, which is the first day of the academic year in Poland. And if foreigner candidates have problem to get the Polish visa, because the process can be quite time consuming, it is possible to start doctoral school also from the summer semester, which usually starts in the beginning of March. Okay, so with this opportunity, you gain some more option, more time to apply for Polish visa. And this year, the number of places in our doctoral school, the overall number is 250. This number is divided to the disciplines, proportional to the size of the discipline. And what is the qualification rule here? So it is an open contest. So every of the candidates is evaluated with these 4 criteria I mentioned. And it means that the doctoral candidate receives from 0 to 100 points. The obligatory requirement is to get at least 50 points. And then all candidates with a number of points higher than 50, we have a ranking list in the discipline, and the best candidates are qualified according to the number of places in the discipline. I hope that this year all of good candidates will be qualified, because last year we had 200 places, 2 years ago 150 places. So as Izabela said, it is also policy or strategy of our rector to increase the doctoral school. Okay, so all other details you can get from our website. Also, you can reach me or Vice Deans if you have any questions regarding the evaluation process. And moreover, very important persons are chairmen of scientific disciplines. So these persons are also chairmen of the recruitment committee. So you can find the names and the emails on our website. So if you have some detailed questions on a particular discipline, on the interview and other elements, you can also contact these professors. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for all the essential details about the recruitment process. And continuing with the topic of admissions, I now have a few questions for Professor Renata Krzyżyńska. And let's start with the interview stage. I'm curious, what are the key aspects that are evaluated during the interview with candidates?
Okay, interview. I would like to say that the recruitment committee consists of several experienced professors in a given discipline. Their role is to check if a PhD candidate is able to complete PhD on time and has potential to become a future scientist. Therefore, they can ask many different questions. But the most important document for interview, for committee, is initial concept of doctoral dissertation called PhD project. And the committee typically asks about topic of doctoral dissertation, methodology, research tools, and future plans. Usually they ask about novelty, and common questions are, what is new? Where is the science? I strongly recommend discussing this with your supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our discussion on the crucial interview stage of the recruitment process. So now let's move on the next important stage. Does a candidate need to have a potential supervisor in place before being admitted to the doctoral school? And if so, how they can find one. Professor Renata Krzyżyńska, could you please elaborate on this?
Okay, of course, candidates must have potential supervisor to be admitted to doctoral school. The mentioned document, PhD project, must be signed by potential supervisor, but it's not only signature. Remember that future supervisor will be the most important person at your university, and therefore choose carefully. We strongly recommend reading paper which is put on our webpage. It is the 10 reasons to find a good supervisor. And the next question was how to find supervisor. Yes, there are several options. One option is for our students, the people who are still studying. You can observe professors during the lecture, and you can choose the one whom the candidate find the most interesting in terms of research and personality. This is the first option. The second option is using our database of supervisors on our webpage. You can use keywords and find supervisor. The other option is talking to your colleagues, all the colleagues, PhD candidates, because usually they are well informed. And I assume also that our doctoral council can help. Another option is look for PhD scholarships offer posted on faculty website. And if you have still problem with finding supervisor, you can also contact to head of discipline and ask for help. The contact you can find on our webpage also. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now let's turn back to our PhD student, Izabela. Izabelo, could you please walk us through the recruitment process from a student's perspective? And additionally, what would you say are the most challenging aspects of it?
Yeah, the recruitment process can feel a bit overwhelming at first, but with good preparation, it's definitely manageable. So first of all, I highly recommend choosing your supervisor and try to find with him your research topic early. If you're already a student at our university, as Professor Krzyżyńska said, it's usually easier because you might already know your potential supervisor and how they work. And if you're coming from another university, yeah, no worries. You can use our database. And it is very helpful to when you're looking for a good match. Another key thing is getting your documents ready in advance. Yeah, all the required document is listed on the doctoral school website. And yeah, don't leave everything for the last minute as I did. Don't recommend this. And the most stressful for the most candidates is definitely the interview. So it's really important to prepare well, and a great way to do that is by discussing potential tough questions that may appear during the interview with your supervisor. He can give you some advice how to answer correctly when those tough questions will appear. And a pro tip from me, so if you think ahead, you can boost your application by earning some extra points. You can attend some scientific conference or even taking an additional course, and it also can make a difference and you can have some extra points. So yeah, we just have to plan ahead, stay organized and prepare for the interview, and everything will go well.
Okay, this is a bunch of very helpful and very practical informations. And now let's go back to Professor Renata Krzyżyńska, because I have a very broad question. How does the curriculum at the Doctoral School of Wrocław University of Science and Technology look like?
Okay, as I mentioned before, doctoral education lasts 4 years in our doctoral school, and includes conducting scientific research and training program. Scientific research is carried out in the candidate's discipline under supervision of supervisor, but training program consists of both obligatory and elective courses. The program is designed to enhance candidates' research skills and provide essential knowledge for navigating the world of academia. And we have two kinds of curriculum. They are very similar, like classic curriculum and implementation doctorate curriculum. The classic curriculum consists of 285 hours of lecture per 4 years and includes interdisciplinary courses like recent research trends in scientific discipline, reporting seminar in scientific discipline, research skills, ethical and legal aspect of scientific activity, personal development, teaching skills, English language, and elective courses. Of course, PhD candidates can take extra elective courses like specialized one, and they can take 120 hours. The second curriculum is implemented doctorate curriculum. Is similar, very similar to the classical one, but this curriculum consists of 165 obligatory courses. That means that 120 hours further than classic curriculum. They do not have to take English courses and elective courses. That's it. Our program is very interesting, very useful.
Okay, thank you so much. That was about curriculum, and now I would like to circle back to Professor Krzysztof Walkowiak with a similar question. Could you please explain what an individual research plan is and how the midterm evaluation process?
Okay, so these two elements are defined in the Polish law, and they were introduced 6 years ago as a new element of doctoral education, and I like very much these two elements because, in my opinion, it was a very good idea. So, after first year of education in the doctoral school, after 12 months, the doctoral student must submit individual research plan, and this plan must be agreed or also supported by the supervisor. And what for is the plan? So, the first year of your education is just to define your research problem, the research questions. I was talking before that we expect these elements during the interview, but it is, let's say, preliminary version. After the first year, you must provide the final version of your plan for the PhD. And we can look at the PhD as a type of research project. So if you like a research proposal, it is also required to provide some details like the schedule, like deadlines, like the research questions, and many others. So we elaborated on a very detailed template to prepare the research plan. It is available on our website. And the most important elements of the plan is the schedule. So we divide the 3 years of doctoral education after the first year to semesters. And doctoral student must provide a detailed research task for each of the semester, like making experiments, preparing research papers, analysis of the results. Usually the last semester is focused on writing the doctoral dissertation because it is quite a difficult and time-consuming process. And the template of the research plan also has such elements like related work. So we expect that doctoral students did some survey on the literature, also description of the planned research methods, how the planned research problem is related to the disciplines. So I come back to the Polish system of university. So we have these disciplines and you must, let's say, be fixed to the discipline during your education, and some other elements. Okay, and then after the first year, the doctoral students is obliged to implement the individual research plan. So the next very important milestone is the midterm evaluation. So as the name says, it is in the mid of the education, so after 2 years. So after 1 year after the individual research plan submission, there is this midterm evaluation. So it is done by a 3-person committee. 2 of them are from our university, 1 of them is from another university. In the committee there, they cannot be your supervisor, so there's like an external evaluation. It is like a little bit small defense of your PhD. And to prepare for the evaluation, the doctoral student must prepare so-called self-report with description what was done during the first 2 years of doctoral education with reference to the plan. So for instance, if for the third semester there was a plan to make some experiment simulations, the doctoral student should describe carefully what was done. So it is expected that all of the tasks are implemented, but if not everything is implemented, you can describe or explain why the plan was not implemented 100%. Yes, so the reasons could be different. Maybe after initial experiments, you changed some assumptions, or the first results were not satisfactory, so you had to switch to another method and many other elements. So this is the self-report. There is a meeting with the committee. So during the meeting, the doctoral student must present a 15-minute presentation about implementation of the research plan, and there is a talk, a discussion with the committee. So it looks a little bit similar to the interview during the recruitment process. I'm aware of the fact that now maybe it is not so easy for you to do the interviews because probably very few of them have oral exams. In the past, it was maybe more popular. But in general, if you are thinking about being a researcher, so communication, talking about your results is very important. Yes. So also with the process of midterm evaluation, it is like a training before the defense, presenting at the conference. And what are the consequences of the midterm evaluation? So the result is a binary one. So it could be positive. It means that you can continue doctoral education and your scholarship is increased. So probably it is very nice for doctoral students. If the result is negative, it means that by the law, the doctoral student must be removed from the doctoral school. Okay, so it is like a verification of the progress of implementation of your doctorate. Okay, so once again, more details about these two milestones are available on our website, both in Polish version and on English version on our website. Thank you.
Thank you. But pursuing a PhD is not just about research, but also about securing the necessary resources to support one's academic journey. So, Izabela, could you please tell us more about these very important additions? And by that, I mean some additional funding opportunities available via doctoral school, or maybe external or internal scholarships, grants, financial aid programs that PhD students can benefit from.
Yeah, sure. So our doctoral school offers several opportunities for extra scholarships and research funding. So when it comes to research funding, we have a great project called mini grants. And these grants are designed to support PhD students in the research projects related to their dissertation. There are different categories of funding, such as conferences or internships, and the PhD student can apply for up to 20,000 zloty. In terms of scholarships, PhD students can apply for 3 different. We have scholarships with an increased amount, and this is awarded to top 30% of PhD students for one entire academic year. And it increases the standard PhD scholarship by 15% of professor's salary. The second is the scholarship from the university's own fund, and it is given every year for top 50 PhD students. And it is one-time payment of 5,300 zlotych. And the third one is Director's Award for the PhD student, and last year it was 3,000 zloty. Also, it is a one-time payment. But this is just what is available from our university. There are also plenty of external funding opportunities, such as grant from the National Science Center of the Foundation for Polish Science. Yeah, and more information about those opportunities are on the doctoral school website. And also, whenever a new funding options appear, doctoral school are usually sending us an email about it, so for us to stay tuned about new possibilities.
Okay, we will definitely return to you in a minute. And for now, I would like to direct another question to Professor Krzyżyńska. Does the doctoral school have a dedicated office where can candidates find key information about the school and the recruitment process?
Yes, of course. We have offices. They are located on the third floor of building A1. Regarding the information, all information you can find on our website. And regarding recruitment process and regarding also doctoral education. But another news is that we launched new web page, doctorate.edu.pl, which is directly dedicated to recruitment process. Yeah. You can find everything here.
Okay. I would like to remind you, participants, that you can ask all the questions using our chat room on YouTube Live. And now a few words from PhD student Izabela again. Understanding the balance between research, between classes, between other responsibilities, and understanding the day-to-day experience of the PhD student. Can you offer us a clearer picture of what life at the doctoral school is like? And could you give us like your daily routine or describe your typical day?
Honestly, it is very hard to describe a typical day because every PhD student is different and so are their disciplines. But in general, the first year is a bit more structured, so I will start with this one. Because we still have classes, frequent meetings with our supervisor, and we are probably just starting our research with literature. We are doing initial experiments and planning basically our PhD journey. I'm currently on the third year, so I don't have any more classes, and my main focus is just doing the research. And basically, how you structure your work really depends on what you and your supervisor agree on. Because some people prefer to strict 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. schedule following a well-defined plan. Others, like me, are more flexible. I'm really not a morning person, so usually I'm starting around 9, 10 a.m. Since I'm most productive in the afternoon. And yeah, let's try with the typical day for me. So I'm arriving at work, checking emails and plan my tasks for a day. And then I'm starting experiments, run synthesis, or analyze data. Then a lunch break with my amazing team. This is very important point in my day. Then I'm working on writing publication or preparing an abstract or presentation for the conference. And then I'm continuing experiments, finishing up the tasks or having another meetings. Yeah, the key thing is that doing PhD is very flexible. You can adjust your schedule with your supervisor to fit your work style and other life commitments with your PhD.
Okay, that was about Izabela's daily routine, and we just earlier got a broad insight about possibilities. So let's switch to duties now. So the journey of a student at the doctoral school involves balancing multiple responsibilities. Professor Krzysztof Walkowiak, could you please describe from your perspective what the main ones are?
Okay, so a lot of issues and responsibilities were already mentioned today in our talk, so I will try to summarize this. Okay, so the main goal is just to work on your research activities to prepare the doctoral dissertation, and there are many detailed tasks which already Izabela was describing from her perspective, from chemistry perspective. So most of the time probably we'll spend making research which has, let's say, many flavors, but more, let's say, basic stuff. Yeah, so as I said before, we have a system of plans and reports. So during the first 2 years, the PhD student must, before the semester, provide a plan for the semester, and after the semester, a report. Starting from the third year, the plan and report is submitted every year. So we have an IT system, I think that it is not very time consuming, but with this system, we also are able to check the progress of the PhD and to verify different issues. Quite obvious ones also Professor Krzyżyńska mentioned about our courses, our curriculum. So you must go through all the courses. Most of them you should complete in first 2 years, but we are very flexible. Yes, so it is not like first and second degree studies. So it is your decision in which semester you are doing a particular course. And in most of the cases, the courses are provided by different teachers, so you can select among them. There are only very few courses. There's only one offer, which follows from the fact that this course is provided in the discipline. What's next? So, okay, maybe it is not a duty, but opportunity. So also, as Izabela mentioned, you can apply for different additional scholarships, projects, and so on. But most of the time you spend with your supervisor. And also what is important here. So I also mentioned about the definition of the doctoral dissertation, and there was a word independently. So, okay, the final result is the dissertation, which is quite obvious, but my also philosophy as a supervisor is that I'm not focusing purely on the dissertation, but on the person, the PhD candidate. So we are trying as a supervisor, but also as a doctoral school, to teach you, to prepare you to be independent scientists in the future. Yes, so it means that you also must have a big part of your autonomy and control your progress, because it is not like the system that every day you have a task from your supervisor. Yes, many things you should do by yourself, also plan different elements, being aware of the fact that after 4 years, you should submit a dissertation. And I will come back to the individual research plan, because the plan is also like a road sign for the next semesters, what should be implemented, done, and so on. However, this is just research, and that's why I also love my job, that not everything is so, let's say, well defined. There are some surprises coming from different sources, so you also should be ready for this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's a lot of so far. Yeah, let's switch the focus to opportunities again, including the international ones. Isabella, how do you view the possibilities for the scientific mobility during a PhD? And additionally, what are the key benefits of participating in research stays or exchanges, and what challenges might doctoral students encounter along the way?
So for me, scientific mobility is one of the biggest advantages of doing a PhD. There are different types of mobility, with the main ones being international research stays, summer and winter schools, and conferences. Each of these offers different benefits and serves a different purpose. Of course, the biggest challenge is usually the administrative side of things, getting all necessary paperwork sorted out. Since different types of mobility are often funded by different sources, the required documents and application processes can be different, which can be a bit of a hassle. But once you get through that, the fun parts begins. I don't think I need to convince anyone that scientific mobility is an amazing experience. You get to work in the new research teams, develop your skills, exchange ideas with experts. And on top of that, travel and explore new places. So right now, I'm actually on a 4-month research stay in Marseille in France. And while organizing everything was a bit challenging at first, it was definitely worth it. Now I'm spend my days learning new things in the lab, and my evenings relaxing on the beach with new friends, and my weekends exploring the French Riviera. So I think this is a quite nice way to do a PhD.
That sounds really good. I started to be jealous for 1 minute. Oh, I have one more question for you. You are the member, actually you are the vice dean of the Doctoral Student Council
Yes.
at the University of Science and Technology. So could you tell us how one can become a part of this organization? And additionally, what are the key responsibilities of the Doctoral Students Council?
So every year in October, we hold elections for the Doctoral Students Council. And if you like to be part of it, you just have to apply on time. So this is quite easy. And there are 7 members in the council who are elected by vote during a university-wide doctoral students meeting. As for our main tasks, so the council represents the doctoral community both at the university and also at the national level. The other tasks of the council are to protect doctoral student rights, express opinion on their behalf, and actively participate in university committees. We are also involved in decisions that impact the doctoral community, helping to improve the quality of education and research opportunities at the doctoral school. And another important part of our work is organizing scientific, cultural, and integration events. We host gathering like PhD student days, the doctoral student rally, PhD fest, sport activities, and many other to bring the PhD community together.
Okay. Once again, I highly appreciate all of those useful information. And as we approach the end of our meeting, I have 2 final questions. This will be for Professor Krzysztof Walkowiak, the Dean of the Doctoral School. First one, could you please explain what an implementation doctorate, which is in Polish doktorat wdrożeniowy, what it is and how does it differ from a traditional PhD program?
Okay, but before I start describing the implementation doctorate, I also want to comment the last question and the answer from Izabela Walendzik. So the Doctoral Council is very important for us also as authorities of doctoral school. So we are quite young unit. We started in 2019, and without help of different doctoral student councils, we will be not so successful. Yeah? So they are helping us in curriculum preparation, in regulations, and it is very important because we have the feedback of our doctoral students, and we are doing everything for our doctoral students. Yes? So thank you for your activities, and I also take part in this social activities that are very interesting. Yes, so if you join our doctoral school, please join also this social activities, like for instance, Right Doctoranta. Okay, coming back to implementation doctorate, there are usually many questions about this program from potential candidates. So this is a program started in 2017, so quite a long time ago, by our ministry. So it is a way to fund the doctoral scholarship. So it is like external money for the scholarship. So in general, the doctoral students in this program, they are still the same doctoral students as others, and they also must prepare a doctoral dissertation and have the defense. So in Polish law, there is one single PhD degree, doctor degree, which is the same for regular doctoral students and implementation doctoral students. So what are here the differences? So first of all, we have to apply to the ministry. There is an open contest. All universities in Poland apply. And in the application, which is submitted by the university, they must be also a partner from the industry or some institution. So the general idea is to solve a research problem, scientific problem from a company. And in this application, there must be a description of the problem, the research plan for 4 years of the doctoral education, research methods, and many other elements. So this application is evaluated by special reviewers from the ministry side. And if the decision is positive, so the funding is accepted, then we assign to this project a doctoral student. So in our case, we expect that from the beginning, we have a potential candidate. So for instance, currently, we start to obtain some proposals because the deadline is still, as I remember, April 25. So we expect potential candidates, like potential PhD students, who must be employed at the company. So it is another important condition of the program. So during the whole 4 years of making PhD, the PhD student is employed at the company, full-time employment, and also he or she is a doctoral student of our doctoral school. So it is quite challenging because this person must combine normal employment and also making research. So probably the only way to a successful end of this story is to have a job, a position at the company in R&D department, research and development, and doing at the company the same or most of the things which are required also for doctoral dissertation. Because if at the company you are doing one stuff, which is maybe not advanced enough for doctoral education, and you are doing the doctoral dissertation after hours, there's not enough time to combine all of these duties and requirements. Yes, so the, let's say, perfect candidate is an employee of the R&D department, quite experienced person, because this experience here is a potential advantage, because such a person can start advanced research just very shortly. And once again, very important issue is that the research problem formulated in the proposal must be very strongly related to the company. And by solving the problem, we should help something to improve something in the company. So my experience, I'm from computer science, and I had one PhD student from Nokia, a very big company in Wrocław, with location in Wrocław. So I'm very happy with this, that the results of the PhD are currently implemented with Nokia, and the equipment of Nokia is sold around the world. So to conclude, to summarize, once again, details are on our website, the recruitment process and other elements. And if you have any questions, you can approach us as the Doctoral School. But first, you must discuss the potential doctorate at your company. So the company should provide the research problem and also support from the side of the company, for instance, including a so-called opiekun naukowy, scientific supervisor from the company, which the person should help you during the implementation doctorate. So it is one of the options. In our case, as it was mentioned before, we have a separate recruitment process, because implementation doctorate students, they also have a reduced curriculum. So there is smaller number of courses, because we are aware of the fact that combining employment, research, and also courses is very difficult. So we left only the obligatory courses that provide the required learning outcomes. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And finally, maybe one of the most important concerns for many PhD students, what are the career prospects after completing a doctorate? And what opportunities are available for PhD graduates, both here and beyond?
Okay, so it is a very important issue and question. So once again, me as a supervisor, so it is one of the first questions I'm asking my potential candidates about the motivation and future plans. Once again, it is 4 years hard work, so it is not so easy without very strong motivation. And the motivation, in many cases, follows from the future plans. So, okay, so what options are on the table? So, in general, we can divide the future potential plans to academia and industry. So, me as a scientist in computer science, I love data, and also as a dean of doctoral school, I like data. So every PhD student that submits a doctoral dissertation, means the finishing of doctoral student, is asked in a special survey also about the plans for the future. So up to now, we have 140 submitted dissertation and also this number of answers. And what are the statistics here? So I will check my notes. Okay, so 39% of the graduates of doctoral school answered that they plan their career in industry. 38 academia, so quite equally. 22 postdocs. So what is postdoc? So after PhD, you can continue some research activities on a postdoctoral position. Usually it takes 2 to 3 years. So there are many projects, also European projects, that announce an open position for this. So in many cases, postdoc is done in another country. After postdoc, still both options are on the table. So you can go to university, to academia, or you can switch to industry. So more or less 50-50 is the division. Also, we have 2% of the answer like own company, so not a big number. And what is interesting here, so a similar question we are asking also to our candidates, which are enrolled to the doctoral school. So if you enroll, if you are successful, probably in October, we'll ask you a similar question. And the statistics are very similar. So from the beginning, about half of the candidates, doctoral students, they think about academia, half industry. So, okay, let's talk more about academia. So at our university, we hire persons with PhD, but it depends on the faculty. It is quite a complicated story because it is also a function of the number of students and many other issues. So if you are thinking at this moment as a candidate that you want to stay at our university, probably this is one of the topics to be discussed with your supervisor, okay? What are the options in the faculty you plan to make your PhD? And it strongly depends on the faculty, and this will be the situation at this moment. What will be after 4 years? Okay, it can change. So it is not so, let's say, fixed. Of course, with the degree from our university, doctor degree, you can apply to any other universities because our diplomas are recognized around the world. And we have many graduates that make career in Europe or North America and many other places. Now let's talk about this industry option. So first of all, you can stay in Wrocław, beautiful city, or in Lower Silesia. So it is one of the best developing regions in Poland, and observing our local industry for last 30 years. So the number of big companies or smaller companies, but with R&D departments is increasing. Yeah, so for instance, I mentioned Nokia, but also we have many very interesting startups that hire experienced researchers with PhD. And once again, with PhD from our university, you also can apply to any other company around the world to the R&D department. And finally, I would like to tell you the story of my PhD students I supervise. Yes, so 10 of them, they finished PhD. One of them is after defense and just waiting for the last voting. And the last guy is just waiting for the defense. He has 3 positive reviews, okay? So 8 of them stayed at the academia, but 1 in Canada, 1 in the United States, and 1 is now on a postdoc in Sweden. 5 rest are with our university. And 4 remaining persons, they decided to make a career in the industry, and 2 of them are working in the United States. So, okay, so also my story shows how many opportunities you can have after making PhD. Thank you.
Thank you. We reached the end of today's discussions, but maybe before we say bye, I will summarize who joined us today. That was Professor Krzysztof Walkowiak, Dean of the Doctoral School at WUST. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Professor Renata Krzyżyńska, Vice Dean of the Doctoral School. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Bye.
Professor Agnieszka Wyłomańska, Vice Dean for Doctoral Studies. She was with us via chat. And Izabela Walendzik, PhD student. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And with that, we wrap up our open day at the Doctoral School of Wrocław University of Science and Technology. My name is Zuzanna Pawlak, and I want to thank you all for the time and for your expertise, as well as each and every one of you for participating in today's live session. I hope this meeting provided the clarity and guidance you all needed. Wishing you all the best in your future academic path. I'm confident you will do great.